This is going to blow your mind. Moldova's election could reshape the future of Europe. Welcome to Moldova's election showdown. Every vote could tip the balance of power. Will Moldova move closer to the European Union or align itself more closely with Russia? Maia Sandu is the current president of Moldova. She is running for re-election on a pro-European platform. Sandu is a strong advocate for democracy, the rule of law, and closer ties with the West. She believes that Moldova's future lies within the European family of nations. Sandu is popular among younger voters and those who desire a more modern and transparent government. Sandu's supporters see her as a beacon of hope for a country plagued by corruption and economic stagnation. They believe that she is the best candidate to lead Moldova towards a brighter future. However, Sandu faces an uphill battle against her pro-Russian opponent. Alexandr Stoianoglo is Sandu's main challenger in the election. He is the former Prosecutor General of Moldova and is running on a platform of closer ties with Russia. Stoianoglo has criticized Sandu's pro-European policies, arguing that they have harmed Moldova's economy. He believes that Moldova should prioritize its relationship with Russia, a traditional ally and trading partner. Stoianoglo's supporters are drawn to his message of stability and economic security. They are wary of Sandu's reforms, which they fear could lead to instability and economic hardship. They believe that Stoianoglo is the best candidate to protect Moldova's interests in a volatile region. The election in Moldova is being closely watched by the international community. There are concerns about potential Russian interference in the vote. Russia has a history of meddling in the elections of its neighbors, and Moldova is no exception. There have been reports of Russian disinformation campaigns and attempts to influence voters. The Moldovan government has accused Russia of trying to undermine the election and destabilize the country. Russia denies these allegations, but the international community remains concerned. The presence of Russian troops in the breakaway region of Transnistria further complicates the situation. Section 5. Moldova, caught between East and West. Moldova is a small landlocked country located between Romania and Ukraine. It is a former Soviet republic that gained independence in 1991. Moldova has a complex history and a diverse population. While the majority of Moldovans speak Romanian and identify with Romanian culture, there is also a significant Russian-speaking minority. This division is reflected in Moldova's politics. The country is torn between its desire to integrate with the West and its historical ties to Russia. This geopolitical tug-of-war is at the heart of the current election. Section 6. A struggling economy and the fight against corruption. The election in Moldova is not just about geopolitics. It is a critical moment for the nation's future, where the choices made by the voters will shape the direction of the country for years to come. It is also about the economy and corruption. These are issues that have plagued Moldova for decades, creating a cycle of poverty and mistrust among the populace. Moldova is one of the poorest countries in Europe. The streets of Chisinau and the rural areas tell a story of economic hardship and struggle. It suffers from high levels of poverty, unemployment, and corruption. These issues are deeply intertwined, with corruption often exacerbating economic woes and vice versa. The COVID-19 pandemic and the war in neighboring Ukraine have further exacerbated these problems. The pandemic has strained the healthcare system and economy, while the conflict in Ukraine has added to the instability and uncertainty. Voters are looking for a leader who can improve their lives. They are desperate for change and are seeking someone who can bring hope and tangible improvements. They want a government that is accountable, transparent, and effective. The demand for transparency and accountability is louder than ever, as citizens are tired of empty promises and want real action. Both Sandu and Stoianoglo have promised to tackle corruption and improve the economy. Their campaigns have focused heavily on these issues, with each candidate presenting their vision for a better Moldova. However, it remains to be seen whether either candidate can deliver on these promises. The challenges are immense, and the path to reform is fraught with obstacles. The people of Moldova are watching closely, hoping that this election will mark the beginning of a new chapter in their nation's history. Section 7. What's at stake for Moldova's democracy? The stakes in this election are high for Moldova's democracy. The country stands at a crossroads, with its future direction hanging in the balance. This election is not just about choosing a leader, it's about choosing a path for the nation's future. Sandu is seen as a pro-democracy reformer. Her campaign has focused on transparency, accountability, and the promise of a brighter future for all Moldovans. She has garnered significant support from those who are tired of corruption and are yearning for change. She has pledged to strengthen the rule of law, protect human rights, and fight corruption. Her vision includes creating a fair judicial system, ensuring that all citizens are treated equally, and rooting out the deep-seated corruption that has plagued Moldova for years. Stoianoglo, on the other hand, is seen as more authoritarian. His approach has been criticized for being heavy-handed and for undermining democratic institutions. Many fear that his leadership could lead to a concentration of power and a rollback of democratic gains. He has been criticized for his close ties to oligarchs and his record on human rights. These connections have raised concerns about the influence of wealthy elites on Moldova's politics and the potential erosion of civil liberties under his rule. The outcome of the election will determine the direction of Moldova's democratic development. A win for Sandu could signal a new era of reform and progress, while a win for Stoianoglo might entrench the status quo and hinder democratic advancements. A victory for Sandu would be a victory for democracy and the rule of law. It would represent the people's desire for a government that is accountable and transparent, and for a society where justice prevails. A victory for Stoianoglo would be a setback for democracy and could lead to further authoritarianism. It could mean a continuation of the old ways, where power is concentrated in the hands of a few and the voices of ordinary citizens are marginalized. The choice before Moldova is stark, and the implications of this election will be felt for years to come. Section 8. Regional stability hangs in the balance. The election in Moldova has significant implications for regional stability, not just for the country itself, but for the entire Eastern European region. Moldova is a small country, but it is located in a strategically important region, nestled between Romania and Ukraine. It borders Ukraine, a country currently embroiled in a conflict with Russia, making Moldova's political climate even more critical. The outcome of the Moldovan election could have a ripple effect throughout the region, influencing political dynamics far beyond its borders. A victory for Maia Sandu, the pro-European candidate, would be seen as a significant blow to Russia's influence in the region. It would also be a beacon of hope for other countries in the region that are struggling to resist Russian pressure and looking towards the European Union for support. A victory for Alexandr Stoianoglo, on the other hand, would be seen as a triumph for Russia, reinforcing its influence in Moldova and potentially emboldening its stance in the region. Such an outcome could likely lead to greater instability, not just in Moldova, but across Eastern Europe, as countries navigate the complex geopolitical landscape. The European Union and other international bodies are closely monitoring the situation, aware that the stakes are high. Moldova's history of political turmoil adds another layer of complexity, making this election a pivotal moment for the country's future. For the citizens of Moldova, the election represents a choice between aligning with the West or maintaining closer ties with Russia, a decision that will shape their lives for years to come. As the world watches, the outcome of this election will undoubtedly send ripples through the international community, affecting policies and alliances. Regional stability truly hangs in the balance, and the world waits with bated breath to see which direction Moldova will choose. Section 9. The Voter's Choice, a defining moment. The voters of Moldova face a stark choice. They must decide whether to continue on the path of pro-European reforms under Sandu, or to embrace closer ties with Russia under Stoianoglo. The decision they make will have profound consequences for their country's future. The election is expected to be close. Both Sandu and Stoianoglo have strong support among different segments of the population. The outcome will depend on which candidate can mobilize their base and persuade undecided voters. Section 10. Moldova's future, Uncertain yet hopeful. Moldova's future is uncertain. The country faces many challenges, including poverty, corruption, and Russian interference. However, there is also hope. Moldova has a vibrant civil society and a young population that is eager for change. The outcome of the election will determine whether Moldova can overcome these challenges and build a brighter future for its people.